I wanted to just stay out there. And afterwards, when I talked to my team, they're like, "Oh my God, the people from Dodgers were like, he's gone way over his time. This is ridiculous. We're gonna cut the power." And my team was like, you know what's gonna happen
Nah,
if you cut the power? It's not gonna go well."
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to cut the power at Dodger Stadium. Real 92.3, LA's new home for hip hop, Big Boys Neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the neighborhood. The legendary Gabriel Iglesias, the fluffy one himself. Welcome back to the neighborhood, bro.
Legendary.
Yes, bro. Yes. And Dodger Stadium didn't make you legendary, but that puts you in a whole different class. Yes, a whole never level. Yeah, that puts you
Wait,
there,
I need to
bro.
learn that one. Wait, do it again.
That's
How
a
was that?
whole never level. You know what I'm saying? And it's whole never. That's a whole never level. Where's that from? Key and Peele, right?
Key and Peele,
Yeah, man. Got to give it back to the community. But no, man, when we think about record breaking, and, you know, when you think about no one has done what you were able to accomplish at Dodger Stadium, not braggadociously, but what does that feel like when you say, man, you're the first comic to sell out Dodger Stadium?
Man, at the end of it, I just feel like it was so much bigger than just me doing a show, and what it signifies for so many people, and just it didn't happen overnight.
Right, not at all, bro.
It's 2 weeks after my 25th anniversary as a comic, and the fact that it's at home, the fact that there were so many people there that night that have been supporting me over the years, that have been to countless shows, and now it's like it was a graduation almost.
Right.
That feeling of like, wow, this is.
And you know what, man? You brought out so many of your great teammates as well. And now there's others that can say, I did a show at Dodger Stadium. And that's not on a lot of people's resume, and especially on, being a comedian. When you come out, what does that energy feel like when you walk out in front of 45,000 plus people?
That energy, that roar that I got when I walked out there, I'm sure you'll see it once they put it out.
Yes.
I started crying.
Really?
Immediately. I teared up, and I just, I was so happy, like, oh my God, like, I hope that don't let me break down. Don't let me break down. Don't let me. And then I just had to, power through it. But I was crying those first few seconds I was out there because of how good it felt.
Hey man, you know what's crazy? You've done a lot of shows the last 25 years. You built up a great fan base, a great audience. You performed in front of thousands of people already, but that's got to feel different.
It felt very different. When I said it was the greatest moment of my life, I meant it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a date, there's a time. I can tell you. If someone says, "What's been the highlight of your life?"
Oh, you know it.
Right then and
You
there.
know it, man.
May 7th on that stage for those couple
I
hours.
was telling people, like, man, I was there that night. You
And
know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's
when you told people that's going to be that thing. Because I proposed to my wife at a Mariah Carey concert, right? And I didn't tell people, like, hey, if you see me, say I was there that night. But I get people that come up and say, I was there that night. So now we're in a club that all we have to do is come up to you. And I don't want people to lie if you weren't there. You know what I'm saying? Don't lie. But when you say just come up to me and don't say Dodger Stadium, don't say anything, just look at me and say I was.
And you got to do it like, yeah.
Yeah, you got a point. I was there that night.
And that's why I'm going to edit that out of the special, because
Gotcha.
I don't want that's just for LA. That's just for the
Right.
people that were there.
Right, man.
You know.
So when you get on that stage, how involved are you with what the stage looked like, what Dodger Stadium looked like, what the lighting looked like? Because there was so many different lights, the blues, the way the stage was set up. Like, are you involved with that?
I want to say that for the most part, anytime we've done the productions or the videos or the way that the stage was set up, I always give like creative direction. Hey, I would like it if it would look
Right.
like this. I would like it if it would look like that, or this or that. And then it just got to the point where there's so many things happening. You have to start trusting other creative people to
Right.
understand your vision and to execute that. For example, I used to have this video where it was a spinning cake video, and the cake was coming together. And at the end, the cake would explode, and then I would walk out on stage. And so the idea originally was I wanted to have that same spinning cake, but make it a Dodger cake with the LA and the logos and stuff. And they wound up changing it and making it that VW entrance with the the Volkswagen flying into space. And part of me wanted to get mad and go, that's not what I asked for. But then I was like, no, that was way freaking cooler.
Yeah.
I was way better.
Yeah.
That was way better. And you're lucky that you killed it.
Right.
If not, we would have had some words.
Yeah.
We would have had some words.
I would have had someone to blame, but good job. I'm glad I delegated that to you.
Yeah. So there comes a time when you can't control everything, and it's really hard to trust people to understand what it is that you want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what you bring these people in, you want them to creatively understand you, and you hope that they represent you the best possible way. Sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they don't.
And you know, it's crazy, man. You do have a great crew. And there's so many people that make a night like that happen.
Yes.
You know, and even when I do certain things, it's like, man, you'll see things, craft service and the gaffer, like there's so many people, even sitting in your room, and they knock on the door and say, 5 minutes to set. Somebody's been standing in. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And you're thankful for that. But also, if something goes wrong, we don't know those other names.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's,
We're like,
that's a tough one.
His mic was feeding back. His mic kept cutting off. It's like Gabriel Iglesias was. So you are the marquee. So you do have to make sure that everybody that's doing their job is doing their job just as hard as you're doing yours.
Yeah, and you want to bring in professionals. You want to know that because a lot of times when you're putting a show together like that, you also have to look at the cost. How's the money being spent on what? And who you're bringing in. And a lot of times, you might save some money. We're going to save on sound and lighting, so we're just going to use this company instead of using this company. And, unfortunately, sometimes it suffers.
Yeah.
And so this was one of those where we could not, at least for me, I know my business manager did, but
right.
I did not want to look at invoices. I didn't want to know what anything cost. I just wanted to know that I had the best people in this, because you might not get a chance to do it again. This is going to live forever on Netflix. And I don't want to know that I could have spent money to have made it better.
Right.
So
and especially, are you critical on your work?
Very.
Yeah.
Very. So I'm like, if I'm going to go broke on anything, it's going to be this one piece.
Do you know how much it cost?
It's a small independent film. This thing cost a couple $1 million to put together. Not to mention the fact that, it's easily the most expensive comedy special that Netflix has ever put out. Not to mention the fact that I've already invested over close to $500,000 on the original special, which was supposed to be shot in San Antonio.
Oh,
and then I got COVID in San Antonio, and we had to cancel everything. But I still got that bill.
Hey, man, and so with San Antonio, they never got a chance to record the 30 days, like the residency that you did?
We were 3 days away from it.
So you knocked out. So that was like show, what, 30?
Which one?
The one that they were supposed to record. Was it the last two shows?
The last 2 shows were the ones that were going to get recorded.
And you almost made it there.
Yeah.
And so they didn't do any like shows earlier that they could have not pieced something together, but they never rolled on it.
The only thing we did have for the shows in San Antonio was production. So we did have the stage decorated, so every single night looked like a comedy special.
Right.
We had the logo going up in the air, the dogs moving, me coming out the middle, the smokes, the lights. So it looked like a special every single night.
Hey man, can you tell us what you probably, if there is a loss because you couldn't do the show, what did that kind of cost you?
Like I said, close to $500,000.
Jesus Christ.
Just for the San Antonio thing.
Man.
And then the money that was spent in order to, because remember, you got to rent Dodger Stadium. That's not cheap.
Oh, no.
And then all the people that get employed that night. And then that you're bringing in production, for the show. That costs money. And Netflix supports you so much. And then, of course, all the bills you pay, the marketing, the craft services, the VIP,
So do you handle some of that
everything.
stuff, or is that a Netflix budget?
Netflix will only give you so much to play with,
and then
it comes out of pocket.
Yeah, I saw that with Dre too. Dre was like, man, they was like, well, this is what we have for Super Bowl. And they're like, if you want anything else after
anything
this,
else, that's on you.
Yeah.
And so, they made it clear that, okay, this is what you got to work with, and anything else you want to do, it's totally up to you.
And you went beyond what they gave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Because again,
now I feel bad with all the stuff that I ate in the back.
saw you. I know. And I told people back there in the VIP, I said, hey, eat everything. It's paid for.
Yes, man.
I saw my lawyer.
We did, bro.
I saw my lawyer. I said, don't even think you're getting a commission off of this. Go eat that corn.
Yes, that is your commission.
Hey,
bro, I was sitting there. That was the one night that I was like, man, F this gastric bypass.
Forget it.
Man, remember I kept going back. I was like, okay, yep. There's a little room. There's a little room. I'm going back, and everything was so delicious. You know, I was over 500 pounds. I'm sitting here talking with one of the kings of comedy about the vendors and the food backstage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love the fact that, yeah, you're a smaller dude, but you're still big.
Oh my gosh, man.
You still have that mindset.
But let
You're
me
like,
let me tell you how fat we are for real. Jose went Friday night. He didn't send me nothing about, man, it looked like this. Look at the stadium. Look at this. Everything was the food. And so I'm literally 24 hours before my arrival, I'm looking like, man, I hope the tacos are there. I hope the juice is there. Like, man, what are those hot wings that he was eating? Like,
we had a churro station,
Hey,
man. We had a churro station.
oh
It
my
was,
God.
You know,
Bro.
a big shout out to Darlene and one events. God, I always mess up the name of the company, but she does an amazing job. She does all our parties.
Oh my
and
God.
so we hired
dude.
her and Fidel, her
Yeah.
husband, to come out and just do everything.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was all over the place. And then I was like, Andy's going out on stage too? Like,
I was nervous about eating too much,
Right.
Because that will affect the show dramatically. You know, there's been a couple times where
I was fine.
people can hear me.
Oh,
nice.
you talking about you?
Me.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry about that. So,
and clearly, I didn't eat very much because that bottle hit me quick.
oh yeah. So at the end of the night, you know, he fulfills the Netflix times and you know everything else, and he stayed on stage. He brought out his grass covered cooler, you know, and went at it.
Do you normally drink? Like I feel like
You know, there's times when there's always a cooler backstage.
okay.
And so it's got sodas and waters and there's always a bottle there, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't always do it, but every now and then I'll feel good if the show's going long.
Yeah.
And I'll go for it.
What's
But
your go-to?
Patron.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes I will, but I felt like I'm gonna have it on deck, and then and part of me is like, do I really want people to see me drinking on stage? Like I'm always being mindful of like, how is that gonna look? Are parents gonna say, oh, really? I brought my kids. He's
Yeah.
up there, but I felt like it was such a moment of celebration,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. Again, I'm not trying to cover something up, and I'm trying to get over the.
Right.
It was more so like, wow, look at what's happening here,
Yeah.
and I did my job first. And now it's my time, which is why I think we broke the record for the amount of times Vicente Fernandez was played
Yeah, man.
in the building.
Hey, dude, we were like this. Like we at one point we were like, oh, okay, cool. We started to walk back, and then I heard like,
Play it again.
yeah, and remember I told you, I said, Jose, I said he's still on stage.
I was that obnoxious tío at the quinceañera.
Oh,
Otra,
man. Yeah.
otra.
Not wanting
Just
to
one
leave.
more time. Yeah, and it's crazy, man, because I know you didn't want a great night to end.
No.
You know?
No, I wanted to just stay out there. And afterwards, when I talked to my team, they're like, "Oh my God, the people from Dodgers were like, he's gone way over his time. This is ridiculous. We're gonna cut the power." And my team was like, "You know what's gonna
Nah.
happen if you cut the power?
Nah.
It's not gonna go well."
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to cut the power at Dodger Stadium with people that came
Yeah.
from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what
So-
I'm saying? Like, don't cut the power. Like, not at all, bro. Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been the one that hit the news. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love him so much, we effed his name up. You know? And not only, man, are we talking about, like, record-breaking numbers. I remember when you had hit us up and you were talking about the something that's never happened in 50 years when it came to Tapatio. They have never given a Tapatio bottle to, from what I understand, to anyone else. I had a chance to meet the family that night. They're telling me how the dad is like, how the founder is 93 years of age. He still goes in.
He beat COVID too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they're very protective of the brand, which
Very, very much so.
understood. So you get your fluffy bottle. Those things sell out. Everybody want them. Aftermarket, it's ridiculous. You like thinking like, man, do I buy a bottle of Tapatio with fluffy on it or do I buy a Tesla? For real? You know? And
Expensive.
then now, as we're sitting here today, can you explain what else is going on with Tapatio?
Well, aside from the fact that they're just now celebrating 50 years in the business, we did a collab and it did very well. We sold out of all those bottles, and we wanted to do something special for Dodger Stadium. And so they're like, I said, would you guys be okay with doing a new bottle? And they were just so, they were like, well, show us what you want to do. And I sent them the artwork, and they laughed, and they approved it. And so it's basically, it's the Tapatio man holding me.
Did you see it now?
Please, bro. Hold that.
That's
up
why I
right
didn't
now.
want to show it to anyone.
It's the whole, basically, like the running joke is that the Tapatio man is my dad.
Right.
And so it's my dad holding me as a little kid.
Do you see it?
Stop it.
Man.
Oh my
my
gosh, I
gosh.
love it.
Hey man, this is
High
amazing,
and
bro.
fluffy
When I
sauce.
saw
Oh
this,
my
at
gosh.
first I looked, I was like, "Oh, it's the Tapatio guy," and then I looked and I was like, "Oh."
And you got to appreciate the fact that the company is not only it's all family, but they have a sense of humor.
Yeah, man.
They trust me to represent and just get the word out.
Man, the hot and fluffy sauce. Bro, that is not like aftermarket where you going somewhere and you just putting stickers on.
No,
so you can sell it.
no.
This is it.
That's straight from the source, right
Man,
there.
this is amazing, man. Y'all
And
stick
so-
around y'all radios, Big Boys
Big
Neighborhood. Can you see the people in the audience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the night, when the lights started coming
Mm-hmm.
up, I could definitely see everybody. And then when I told everybody turn on your flashlights, that was just like, wow. Then you can really see just how it's deep, and you could just see the lights. They almost look like stars.
Yeah. You brought up your mom.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And, there's times when we'll do certain things, and we know that we have, like, great people next to us or next to God, and they become, like, the agents for us. Like, oh, put this together and make sure my son gets this or my daughter. And I know, like, your mom passed, correct?
10
And
years ago.
10 years ago.
This week or this past week.
See how,
Which I
see how those
found-
numbers came together
Mhm.
right at your 25th, your mom's passing, anniversary kind of that we take a certain way, and now you're on stage around that same time. And I know you hope, you wish, and it's like, damn, I wish she could be here. But what did that feel like to have you on stage and honor your mom?
Yeah, because I mentioned how it's the 10-year anniversary that same week, and it's like, it's insane that how is it that you could have the moving forward, it's going to be an anniversary that week of the worst time of your life
Yes.
and the greatest time of your life in the
Yes.
same week, which I think is like, wow.
But you know what, bro? I understand that too, because my mom, G, was everything to me. Like, mama's boy. I love my mom. Like, even my Ida son tattoo she was alive. It wasn't like, oh, she passed and I went and got it. My mom was everything to me, bro. And my mom died on March 31st, 1999. So that's always like, you never know no matter what the years are, there's this emotional roller coaster that you go through, and you don't know. You just got to strap yourself in, and it'll take you.
And
where
when
it's
that
gotta
calendar
take you.
comes in,
Yes. And then my mom's birthday is February 23rd. So February 23rd has always been that day, like, man, I don't want to work. I just, so on and so forth. So that was always a day for me, G, that was like, damn, And then we got pregnant, and my son was born February 22nd,
Wow.
the day before my mom's. So it gave me something to look forward to and happiness, and it kind of balanced off what that 23rd felt like. And the reason why I say that is because you're already feeling a certain way, like, damn, it's the worst time, and then it's the
I
best.
hear what you're saying though about the
Yeah.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And man, she was, had to be cracking up there. You know what I'm saying? Had to be, man. What did it feel like performing at Dodger Stadium at home in front of that many people? Because that's the hometown hero right there.
Ultimately, you want to get that kind of love at home.
Yeah.
Because when I first started doing stand up, I wasn't doing clubs in LA. I had to go to El Paso, Texas. That's
Right.
why people say, "Why did he shoot that one special in El Paso?" Because I
They showed
wanted
up.
to thank that city. That was the first city I went to and got to go on stage at a comedy club. I couldn't get up the Laugh Factory here. I didn't have a point of view, according to Jamie Masada. Anyway,
Is that Jamie?
he's still gonna see it as a plug. He
Well,
thought
yeah.
about me, buddy.
Right. Was Jamie at Dodger Stadium?
Who knows?
Yeah, he was.
But it was one of those. I've always. Now I lost my train of thought.
Right.
Oh.
Going to El Paso.
Yeah. No. We're going to El Paso. That's why I did the special there, because I had that connection, and so to be able to come home and get that love, the biggest hug you could ever get in your career happened at home,
Yeah,
which made
man.
it that much more special. Not to say that maybe in the future I'll be able to do something the same on the East Coast or anywhere else around the world, but it will never have the same impact and the same feel because, you always want that love at home.
Have you driven past Dodger Stadium over the
On
weekend?
we're on the drive over here right
Is
now.
that crazy?
Yeah. On the way over here. And it's funny because we drove on the 405. So first thing we saw was the Goodyear blimp right there in Carson.
Man,
So as
yes,
we're driving
sir.
by, I got my assistant in the car and I go, that's my blimp.
There it is.
That's my blimp right
That's
there.
the
That's my
that's the
blimp.
pimp blimp right there.
Yeah. And then when we drove by
Hello.
Hill Street on from Dodger Stadium, I go, that's my stadium.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy, bro. And
So
you
nuts.
and your whole team, man. They need to do the Dodger Stadium makeover because Dodger Stadium looked amazing that night. It
was-
almost
it
looked
was
like we
nice.
dropped a different stadium in there. I ain't gonna lie to you. It didn't. It looked amazing, man. So with the Netflix special, have you gotten like a date or an around time when the world will get a chance to see it?
I know that they want to put it out sooner than later, but at the same time, they want to be mindful of the fact that I still got to go in I'm very much involved with the editing of it,
Right.
and part of me wants to make that the edit so that it's a tight 90-minute show,
Mm-hmm.
even though it wasn't a tight 90-minute
yeah.
show, and a part of me wants to say, you know what? How about I just let it roll and let people see everything that happened that night, whether good or bad. At least they'll know that was the most real, honest moment of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know what's best because I know Netflix is going to have their opinion. Like, analytics and the
Right,
drop-off
yeah.
numbers and stuff like that. But anybody that was there, I think it'd be great for them to be able to relive that.
Do you watch your comedy specials, or is it hard for Gabriel Iglesias to watch yourself?
When I'm doing the editing, I definitely watch the specials
Okay.
at least 10 times,
Right.
So that I can.
So
I
are
can
you
get
done with them after that? Like, I can't watch another one.
I'm done with it as far as like the material. So like I start retiring stuff. So in 2 weeks when I start going back on the road, I will use some of that material just to get the ball rolling to start the show. But then I'm just going to start throwing new stuff out there.
Damn. Were you on the road with the Dodger Stadium performance, or is that all new material?
That show, I've been working on it now since San Antonio.
Okay.
I had I'd say about 60% of that was for San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
the show, and then the other 40 was stuff that has happened in the last year.
Hey, man, we're being in front of an audience for the last 25 years. Do you ever feel like, man, what am I going to talk about next?
I think that because of the fact that, and someone brought it up to me, they said, some of the things you mentioned in that, and I don't want to give too much away, but I closed a couple of chapters in that special that I did on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that I'm not going to be talking about certain things anymore, now it gives room for me to, and plus the status of my relationship and everything.
Right.
Now I can really just, who knows what I'm going to talk about. It's
Hey, man, when you say the status of your relationship, do you feel, do you see like marriage in your future?
Not really. Well, and
How
that
do-
maybe that's because I'm not engaged. I'm not with someone, so it's
Right.
not like, oh man, we've been talking about it because
Right,
it's
right,
always a
right.
conversation. Once you're with someone, like and they start giving you those subtle,
Yeah.
look at,
Like your
man.
finger itching?
Ooh, yeah, just what's wrong, baby? Oh, nothing. There's
Your
nothing
hand is
wrong
on
with
your
my
face.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you?
I don't know.
Do you think it'd be hard for you to find?
Yes.
Someone that's for you because of your heart and who you
Exactly.
are.
Exactly, and it is hard to trust because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know, and it's like at the end of the day, you put your heart out there, you put your soul out there. You want to know that someone's going to take it and you're going to have something strong. And if you're going to get married, that's oof.
Yeah.
I don't want to have ex-wives. I have friends that are like, oh man, here's another ex. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why do you keep doing it? You clearly suck at it.
Or like, man, I had a kid with her, but I'm like, damn, you had the kid, but you won't like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had a kid with her, man, but talking about marriage, I'm
Yeah.
cool. You know?
I just want to be happy and be around someone that I feel okay.
Hell yeah.
Do you, now that you've crossed this sort of like off a career bucket list, because a lot of times we go like, oh my God, what are my dreams? This is my dream. My dream would be to play here one day. Where do you go from here to just have a new thing to cross off?
Trying to find something new because the conversation actually happened about retirement at one point because it's like, so what do you do after this? Like what, that the phrase jumping the shark.
Right.
You know,
Jump
which is
the
an
shark.
industry term for television shows. Once they've peaked out and they've done something that's just, how do you top that?
Mhm.
And so it's like, I don't know. I mean, do we do another stadium? Because someone said, well, come back and do it again. And
Right.
I'm like,
I heard somebody yell
yeah,
that from the
come
audience.
back and do it again. And I'm like, whew. You know, is it going to feel the same? You
Yeah.
know, and I don't want to just do something for the money. I want to do it because
I would.
nice.
Oh, my bad. Was my
Just
mic on?
hey, for that corn station with the
Yeah.
churros and
Yeah. I'll do just for what was in the back.
Just for the food.
But you know what, man? I remember one year I came out and I sung with Vicente Fernandez, right?
And you were in the outfit too. I remember that.
And it was one of those things, bro, that, you know, of course, my man, you know, he's passed on. But people would always ask me, are you going to do it again? And I was like, man, I can't do that again. You know what I'm saying? Because I gave everything to that. And I don't want to mess up that moment. I don't want to go back and try to repeat the high. I don't, you know, so I walked away from that. And with Dodger Stadium, bro, you could say I walked away with that. You can sell it out again. We know that. But the experience won't be the same.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And you'll be chasing something.
You can only do it. You can only do it for the first time.
Yeah, man.
One time.
Yeah, and that one's too many. 1,000's not enough. I'll take that one too many and be done with it, bro. You did an amazing job, and I'm so glad that I remember we were supposed to do the Canelo fight, and I was like,
And how ironic.
I know, man. Yeah,
I'm like, ooh.
yeah. When did you find out that Canelo lost?
I found out that Canelo lost.
Did you
maybe about 2 minutes before I walked out there, and then I'm like, should I edit the story? And I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it as is.
Hey, dude, the Canelo story was funny as hell too.
You
bro.
know,
and you know what? I'm so
because I didn't want people to think, oh, now he's kicking him while he's down.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
And I'm so glad you didn't announce it to the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, announce it to the crowd, like, man, we just got word, Canelo lost, you know? Because then people have a certain feeling about that, too. Like, oh, damn. Then you got to try to bring them back from that.
yeah, no.
Yeah, because I knew when I was telling everybody in the audience, then the vibe changed. The vibe changed. You know, I was like, man, remember I was down, I was like, man, Canelo lost.
Spread
And
the
now
word
you're
about
on
the
stage.
herd.
We
Yeah,
all
right.
like, man, F this.
They're like, what the? Hey, bring me back a beer since you're leaving.
Yeah. Are you gone? Man. Oh, man, but great night. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming into the neighborhood, bro.
I did want to address because you asked. So what are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
I am working on some executive producing some movies for Netflix.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, my Lord.
So I started working on that. I wrote a movie, a treatment a few years back, and I collaborated with someone recently, and Netflix is greenlit it,
Damn, bro.
and so we're
But
very
you know
hopeful.
what, 2G? Character is what's being said about you when you're not in the room. And I tell people that, bro, and people say the most beautiful things about you when you're not in the room. And I've had a chance, and I don't know if it'll make it to the doc that you were shooting as well, but they were just asking me just certain things about you, you know? And I was like, man, I said, dude, for one, you're a giver. You know, and I don't want people to start hitting you up on social media, you know, asking things. But there's things that you do, like with your staff and Christmas parties, and you know, lending your name to certain things, lending your talent to things that never get brought to the public. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there are so many people that have a special moment. And as I'm sitting there in the audience as well, and there was a kid next to us, an aisle away from us, and he was probably between 9 and 11 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was dressed just like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of thing where people say, man, I want to dress like a police officer. I want to do this. I have a favorite hat that I like to wear. The kids were dressed up like you. I'm looking at other fluffies in the audience. Like, people dress up as Fluffy for Halloween. How crazy is that? Like, you can go to somebody's door and knock on the door and say trick or treat, and they be like, man, that's a great
That's
outfit.
the best.
Yeah. Honey, come look at this. He effing nailed it. You know, but man, continue to be great. Thank you once again for giving us a great show. For those that get a chance to see it on Netflix, man, you know, I encourage everyone to watch it. And it was a very beautiful night. And I'm so glad that we were there to witness his history. And once again, I was there that night. Gabriel Iglesias in the neighborhood, Big Boy's
Big Boy.
neighborhood.
So it's you know, it's official here. I wanted to. This is presented to Big Boy. Thank you for all the years of love, support, and friendship, man. I love you, man. And I was gonna write on the thanks for not shooting me that one morning, and you'll know what I meant by that.
Hey, you're alive, right? You didn't die, right?
Damn.
But did you die?
Yeah.
But did you die? No. No, but I wanted you to have something from me that you know. Anytime you look at it, you were part of the biggest moment of my life, and you've always been supportive. Whether it was a show at the Ice House or a show at, you know, if I was doing a fundraiser or something, you were always there and supportive, and just, you know, and then always checking on me too, which I appreciate.
Man.
I appreciate that. You would just send me messages because a lot of times people say, "Hey man, I just wanted to check on you, see how you're doing. What are you doing this Friday?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
are you busy? Can I?"
Or I got you still doing that show? Like, you know I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
You still doing Dodger Stadium? Just checking. But no, man.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Can I see that real quick? Hey, man, and this is really my first
so
time
dope,
laying
dog.
eyes on this, like for real. So
It's beautiful.
this right here,
So much
It's
details. So
everything.
awesome.
amazing. I know that doesn't play out well on radio, but I am having such a moment
know,
right
right?
now, bro.
That's
He gave me a plaque that it's like how you'll get presented with a platinum plaque. And this one right here, bro, this really means a lot, man. And they did a very beautiful job on this.
and it is the same company that makes plaques for you know, musical artists that
Yeah,
you
but now
know,
they
that
don't
sell-
make them good anymore. Either.
it's
the music business is different. You know what I'm saying? Like this got good wood. And
This
shit. You know what I'm saying?
you could see the craftsmanship.
Yeah, this is amazing, man. But I thank you, bro. And like I said before, man, I thank you for giving me the honor to be a part of that night as well, bro. So thank you, man. Y'all stick around, y'all radios, Big Boys Neighborhood.